A dragon rider once spent 3 years flying south across Sothoryos and never found the end of the continent. The few people who returned alive spoke of giant flesh-eating lizards, vampire bats that drain men in minutes, and diseases so horrific that victims bleed from every orifice before their skin peels away. Entire civilizations vanished there. Even the Valyrians failed to conquer it. And somewhere beneath the jungles of Sothoryos stands an ancient black stone city so cursed that, according to legend, even the jungle itself refuses to enter. South of Essos, beyond the Summer Sea and the Basilisk Isles, lies the most dangerous place in all of A Song of Ice and Fire, Sothoryos. Most people in Westeros barely know it exists. That may have saved them. For thousands of years, sailors, slavers, conquerors, and treasure hunters tried to tame the northern coasts of Sothoryos. The Giscari built colonies there long before the rise of Valyria. Later, the Valyrians seized many of those same outposts for themselves. None survived for long. Sothoryos does not feel like an unfinished frontier waiting to be conquered. It feels abandoned, like something drove civilization out of it long ago. Its northern shores are a maze of steaming rivers, black mud, mangrove swamps, and jungles so thick that ruined cities disappear beneath vines and fog. Along the coasts, isolated settlements cling to survival, while corsairs from the Basilisk Isles raid villages and drag captives away in chains. And inland, the stories become worse. No one knows how large Sothoryos truly is. Some ancient maps depict it as little larger than Westeros. Others claim it stretches endlessly south into unknown lands. Most maesters simply admit that no one has ever fully explored it. Then came Janara Boleris. Long before the doom of Valyria, the dragon rider mounted her dragon Terax and flew farther south into Sothoryos than anyone in recorded history. She vanished for 3 years. When Janara finally returned to Valyria, she claimed she had found only endless jungle, mountains, and deserts. No southern coast, no end to the continent. She declared that Sothoryos was as large as Essos itself, a land without end. That phrase haunted later explorers, because according to the few people who survived Sothoryos, the continent itself feels wrong. Not cursed in the way old castles or battlefields are cursed. Older than that. The rivers are filled with crocodiles large enough to overturn boats. Parasites burrow beneath the skin of travelers. Venomous snakes lurk beneath roots and vines, while swarms of insects carry fevers capable of wiping out entire settlements in weeks. Then come the diseases: blood boils, yellow gum, sailor's bane, the Red Death. One archmaester who studied centuries of accounts from sailors and explorers reached a horrifying conclusion. 9 out of every 10 men who journey to Sothoryos from Westeros contract some form of disease. Almost half of them die. And farther south lies the Green Hell, the vast, unexplored interior of Sothoryos, where even the coastal peoples refuse to venture. Stories from the Green Hell sound less like geography and more like warnings. Pale white vampire bats that drain men dry within minutes. Snakes 50 feet long sliding through the undergrowth like moving tree roots. Tattooed reptilian predators, the so-called walking lizards, tearing prey apart with curved claws. Then there are the wyverns, creatures related to dragons but leaner, faster, and far more aggressive. Some are said to carry men screaming into the jungle canopy. Most feared of all are the shadow wings, black-scaled nocturnal wyverns so dark they seem to vanish into the night before descending from above. But the monsters of Sothoryos are not what make the continent truly terrifying. The real horror is what happened to the people who tried to live there. One of the few first-hand accounts we have comes from Ser Eustace Hightower. During the reign of Jaehaerys Targaryen, Eustace joined the legendary voyage of Alyssa Farman, the woman who sailed west across the Sunset Sea, searching for lands beyond the maps of Westeros. But on the return voyage, disaster struck. A leviathan cracked the hull of Eustace's ship, the Lady Meredith, forcing the crew south towards Sothoryos. They would spend the next year trapped there. At first, the crew focused on repairing the ship. Then the disappearances began. Some men wandered into the jungle and never returned. Others died screaming from strange fevers after being bitten by insects. According to Eustace, one sailor was bitten by a fly, and within days, his skin began sloughing off, while blood poured from his ears, his mouth, and even his cock and arse. At night, the crew heard howls echoing from the jungle. Then they began seeing shapes moving between the trees, monkeys that walked like men. By the time Eustace finally escaped Sothoryos, much of his crew was dead. Others had simply vanished, and his story was still far from the worst tale the continent had to offer. Because somewhere deep in the green hell stands Yeen, a ruined black stone city so ancient that no one knows who built it. The blocks that form its walls are enormous, oily black stones so massive it would take elephants merely to move them. And unlike every other ruin in Sothoryos, the jungle does not touch Yeen. No vines creep across its walls. No trees grow within its streets. For thousands of years, the city has stood alone in the jungle, like something the world itself is trying not to remember. Every attempt to settle Yeen has ended in horror. Even Nymeria encountered its terror. During the long wanderings of the Rhoynar after the fall of the Rhoyne, Nymeria attempted to settle parts of Sothoryos with her people. Thousands died from disease, heat, parasites, and attacks from the brindled ghouls lurking in the jungle. Some eventually ventured into Yeen itself. Then one day, a ship arrived to find the city completely empty. Every man, woman, and child had vanished overnight. Nymeria would later call it a city so evil that even the jungle will not enter. And perhaps that is the most unsettling thing about Sothoryos. Not the monsters, not the diseases, not even the green hell itself, but the feeling that something ancient and deeply wrong happened there long before the rise of Valyria. The same oily black stone found in Yeen appears elsewhere across the known world. In Ashai, beneath the high tower of Old Town, on the Isle of Toads, and in the ancient sea stone chair of the Iron Islands. No one knows who built these places. No one knows what happened to the civilizations that once ruled them. And no one has ever reached the end of Sothoryos. Somewhere beyond the ruined cities, black rivers, vampire-filled caverns, and endless steaming jungles, the continent still stretches south into the unknown, waiting.